I would say the biggest lesson is don't walk away from something if you think you're never going to see it again.
Okay.
And I wish I had adapted that early on.
International Stacker.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here at Oklahoma Mustang Coin Show in Mustang. I'm walking by and I noticed someone. We got RavenHawk coins in the house. How you doing, man?
Doing awesome, man. Good to finally meet you, brother.
Let me shake your hand because I've known about you for some time. I remember back when I first started my channel, then I remember you made a channel and you had 5,000 subs, and boy, oh boy, have you blown up. You're over 100K, aren't you?
Oh yeah, we just hit 147 the other day.
Woo!
Yeah, growing fast lately, man.
Can we just get to a 250,000? Can we quit playing and get to a 250,000?
That'd be great.
You guys, if you're not subbed to him, you probably already are, but please check him out. How is this coin show going? Are people buying, people selling? What's it looking like?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
We got a lot of people coming through. Well, silver and gold are up in price, so people are still motivated to sell more than buy in.
Are you getting any people in here just with the price action over the last few days being like, I'm just trying to get $1 off, I'm just trying to get a little cheaper?
Yeah.
And you got some cool stuff in your cases. You have a lot of certified coins, yeah?
Yeah, I deal mostly with certified when I'm at the shows. I have some raw stuff in here too, but the thing that happens the most is people tend to kind of argue prices when it's raw versus if you got it graded, it's a lot easier to open up a grade sheet and say, here, this is what it's going for,
You got some beautiful stuff here.
Thank you, brother. I try to specialize in higher grades, of course, because, who spends that kind of money to get things graded? But, it's still surprising me because these coins here that are 15, 16 bucks, somebody had to pay $45, $50 to grade that because they were hoping it would get a, cameo or something. But what do you do?
I mean, it's kind of it's the nature of the beast when you send them in for grades, right?
Yep.
Even back in the day, I was into collectibles, with my dad growing up and baseball cards and stuff. And, you'd be like, please come back at Gym Mint 10, please. And it's the difference between hundreds and thousands of dollars sometimes.
Yep. That's one of the things where some, in behind the scenes with dealers and stuff, they get a little mad. You send a certain coin that has a lower population. A lot of times they think they're getting a lower grade because they don't want to expand the population and change the pricing of the coins. Because if you got an influx, say there's a population of 15 of one coin, all of a sudden 20 more hit the market. Now that coin used to be worth 20 grand, now it's worth 12.
Right. Right.
It's a hit and miss. You got to be a big boy sometimes and just deal with it.
What got you into coins and stacking and all this stuff?
Man, since I was a kid, my pops was the one that got me into it. Took me to a coin shop and, I used to just kind of walk around bored. And the guy that owned the shop tossed me an Indian head penny and said, take this home and look it up. And I've always been a numbers guy. So even as a little kid, I was motivated by money. I got home, I looked it up. That coin, when I was a kid, was worth 15 bucks. A penny. Wait a minute. So then I started looking through boxes and
it lit the fire.
Yeah, lit the fire, and then with the stacking side of things, you got to be prepared in life, man. If you don't have a certain amount of silver and food and different things, just in case, you'd be in a lot of trouble, especially here in the Midwest where we have big storms. There's times in these states where you'll be without, electricity for a couple weeks. And if you don't have water and food and a way to keep yourself fed, you might go without,
Yeah. I'm a big proponent of that. You have to be your own first responder. You don't want to be on your roof with a sign, where is FEMA, help me?
Yeah.
And that's why, folks, you can go to preparewithis.com and get long-term food. You put it in a closet, forget about it. It's good for 25 years. Could save you, friends, family in a time of crisis. So do that and hopefully you never have to do it. But if you do have to do it, you could thank International Stacker and RavenHawk Coins over here for having this conversation. Now, I noticed, and we're talking about times of disaster, and that's why it's great to have silver that's barterable, like silver dimes and things like this. And I noticed your shirt there, shop local, spend gold. Oh, Goldback, okay.
Yeah, Goldback.
Are you a distributor?
Well, I'm actually sponsored by Goldback.
Awesome.
My channel is. So I technically am a distributor that I help a coin shop here in Oklahoma City, and he's listed as the distributor. I get sponsorship from Goldback, so it's kind of like an in-between relationship.
Sure.
But We do a lot of giveaways for Goldbacks on my channel.
Awesome. I love Goldbacks. I just spent some yesterday. I was at the Big Texan shooting some content for this travel. I'm making some pretty cool videos right now. Some of them are top secret, but you'll see coming soon. They're pretty crazy. But I do like Goldbacks for the barterability. And you know, there's some people that are like, the premium's way too high, and the premium is high, but it holds the premium.
When you go
in my
to
experience.
spend it, so I made a video a couple days ago where we went to the pizza shop in Moore, and it's called Bella's, and we bought pizza and our drinks and our, you know, our whole lunch off of Goldbacks. And what a lot of people don't realize is if you're a stacker, you have that mentality, you're worried about the premium. You're worried about, you know, where your cost dollar average is. With Goldbacks, when you go to use them, you actually get almost all the money back in trade.
Yeah.
You know, and when they came out in 2019, they were $2 a piece. Now they're almost $7 a piece.
I've made money on the Goldbacks I still hold. What's the top thing you've learned over the years that you wish you knew when you first started out?
I would say the biggest lesson is don't walk away from something if you think you're never going to see it again.
Okay.
And I wish I had adapted that early on, because there's things that I said, oh, that's not going to be anything of a big deal. To give you an idea, my buddy, huge into cyber security and everything, he wanted to give me some Bitcoin, and I laughed it off. I laughed it off. I said, no, I don't want it. He's like, come on, I'll give you like 1,000 of them. You can buy some pizza. You can do whatever.
Oh my gosh.
You tell me about it.
Dude, I got into gold and silver from Bitcoin. So I was working in Saudi Arabia as a contractor. And back then everyone was naysaying it because it's so much in power. Well, I got power for free. So I bought a bunch of these Bitcoin miners, had my mind going, and I met a guy, another young guy out there as a contractor. I'm like, yeah, man, I mine cryptos. And I showed him, and he's like, oh, I'm a stacker. I'm like, what's that?
Yeah.
And I remember going to like AppMex for the first time, and it's like 69 cents over spot or dollar. I'm like, what the heck is all this? But like, that was kind of my gateway drug, I guess you could say, into gold and silver, which I love. I still mess around with cryptos. And believe it or not, I had mined over 13 Bitcoin over the years. Unfortunately, like I sold 3 at $750 a pop. I'm like, I tripled my money. My last one I sold around 14,000. I mean, I did well.
Yeah.
But dude, I still wish I had
held
those.
on to them.
Gosh dang it.
You know, and that's one of those things. So basically the moral of the story is don't be a naysayer about things you see, because that's usually the thing that'll turn around and kick you in the butt.
That's funny. What's your top advice to people? Because there's a lot of new people getting into it with all the price action. What's your top advice?
So if you're stacking for weight, go for generics, because that's going to be the least amount above premium. But collecting is collecting. If you want to get something because you like it, then get it because you like it. Just realize that if you go to try to sell that to a coin shop, they're just more than likely going to pay you for silver. That's why my advice is stay with generic stuff, stay with stuff that's not too high in the premium, because you'll still have a good solid, you know, return on your investment.
Yeah, and my number one thing over the years has been shop the deals.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can get stuff with high premium that's not. Like, it's super on sale, and then you can turn around later and maybe like flip it or privately sell it, and there can be some, you know, extra money to be made there. And one of my things was like, I always wanted my stack to like build itself.
Right.
So I'd buy key strategic things with thoughts like in the next months or next years on flipping those items. Like, I'm not really into numismatics. I'm more into like the weight, but I'll get numismatic coins if it's a good deal and then sell it to get more.
Numismatics hold their value when silver and stuff is going up and down. Coin investment stays pretty steady, because even though a Morgan is almost 3/4 of an ounce of silver, you're not investing into it for the silver, you're investing into it for the value of the coin. Some of the collector stuff will stay a little more stable, but you got to be really careful, because true collector items is like 500 and less, 1,000 and less. When you start getting there's 5,000, 10,000 of them, it's really hard to get that same money back.
Dude, I flipped the palladium proof like 5 years ago. I did so well. I made like $1,000 on that, and like I shared it with my subs. I'm like, proceed at your own risk, but this is what I'm doing, and we killed it on that one. But you know, if I held on to it with the price of palladium, maybe I could have made more. But to me, those short-term wins that grow your stack, I mean, is a win-win.
Well, if you're making money, you can't regret what you're doing. You don't have a crystal ball. Let's say you held on to it for an extra 3 months and you lost the money because of that. If you sell something and you're making a profit, you're doing good. should never have a regret when you're making some good money.
And that's something I noticed too, is like, you're like, I could have made more with Bitcoin or the palladium proof, but it seems like for every 100 things, 99 of them lose value and one goes crazy.
Yep.
So I think as long as you're making money over the long term, you know, it kind of works. And I've noticed, like, I let the market dictate my buys. I let the deals dictate my buys. Like lately I've been getting like Engelhard bars and vintage rounds because with the spot price coming up so high, I can still get them near the prices they were before the spot price.
Yep. And that's one thing that's a smart maneuver is to go for those things you couldn't afford before because the prices have gone up. I mean, same thing with gold. I mean, I tell people about Goldbacks all the time because that's a hyperfractional currency, and you can actually get gold in your hand for, you know, a half Goldback's $3.50 on average. Like, that's unheard of. Because if you try to go buy a gram of gold right now, you're 110 melt about, and retail you're $135 for a gram.
Yeah.
You know, so there's some good reasons to do things, and diversify is really important.
Good. Well, I'm on the road trip across America right now, so I'm posting up content from LCSs across the nation, meeting subscribers everywhere, and cool coin shows. Where can people find you if they want to learn more about you and your journey?
You go to RavenHawkCoins.com, or you can find me on YouTube, RavenHawk Coins. I do educational videos. We have weekly auctions, and I also do a couple coin shows here in Oklahoma, in Goldsby and Norman. You know, there's supposed to be some stuff coming out with electric vehicles with new batteries, and they use a lot of silver, and they're saying we might see silver skyrocket.
That's why I'm so bullish on silver, because of the huge industrial demand, best conductor of electricity, much cheaper than gold, because gold's good for that too.
Yep.
And the majority of silver mined is dead. It's in landfills, it's in yoga pants, it's blown up in missiles in Ukraine. It's like, you know, it's destroyed. Whereas the majority of gold ever mined is above ground. Yep. You know, there might be some pirate hoards, you know, hidden somewhere, but that's why I'm so bullish on silver.
It's an exciting time, that's for sure.
All right, man, well, it's the end of the video, and do you remember what we say?
We'll catch you on the next one.
Catch you on the next one. Woo!
One stacker on a journey to find silver. International Stacker.